afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the Must Love Yarn podcast.
Yes, it is
Thursday,
December
7th.
Something.
7th. It's the 7th.
We'll let Angela tell us because she always knows the date.
Most of the time. You guys can be worried if I don't know what the date is, because it means I've either not been to work and been signing things, or I was signing the wrong date on things, which has happened.
And then you get in trouble.
And then my paralegal yells at me and I have to re-sign everything, so. Because she has to reprint everything to redate it. Anyway, it's super fun.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a podcast usually not about my work.
For other work.
But about knitting, spinning, crocheting, yarn, fiber, and things related to the fiber arts. And sometimes food, because we like food a lot. And drinks. And being silly. So
And events, local events.
Yeah.
And because sometimes we know you guys like hearing about what's happening in our little piece of the world. Because I know for a lot of people it's kind of like a little virtual knit group,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
Yep.
So,
and I'm Angela.
and I'm Kelly.
And you can find the store, because we actually haven't even got to that part yet, out on social media and the World Wide Web as Must Love Yarn. So we are on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, Ravelry, Facebook,
All
all
the
as
places.
Must Love Yarn.
Yeah.
And you can find me out on social media,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram and Ravelry as Junior Bird Kid.
And you can find me on Instagram as Kelly Ospins, and you can find me on, what's the other one? Ravelry.
Yeah, that other place.
As Kelly
What's
Spins.
that other yarn website?
The one that I use like all the time
Yeah,
to keep
that's-
track of my stuff.
That's
because
open
it's
constantly,
awesome.
and I never close it on my browser.
I know.
So
It's always like my phone browser. It's always
open.
open because I'm always either referring to something on there or
I have to look something up.
look something up. Yeah, exactly.
Or that's how I add pictures to my project
me
pages.
too.
Yeah.
Mhm. Although they have that new thing where you can add stuff if you have put them on Instagram, and
Yeah.
you, especially if you tag them with Ravelry, it'll
Yeah.
automatically
Yes.
be like, oh, is this the one you want?
I have done that a couple of times.
I don't always post all my finished things on Instagram because
No.
don't know if everybody who follows me wants to see it. It's mostly knitters who follow me,
Yeah.
but like some of my
I-
other friends who are just who
yeah.
know me not through knitting or whatever.
I just kind of snicker when I see people start to follow me that like I'm friends with on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, oh
are you
boy.
in for it?
You're just going to see all the knitting things,
Yeah.
because that's mostly what I do on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally some kid stuff, but mostly knitting.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, your choice. Nobody made you follow me. So,
Oh my
so
goodness.
we usually like to start this podcast, in case we hadn't mentioned it, because it's I guess one of those Thursdays again. It is, and I think I might have linked to the wrong yarn just in the show notes, but that's just for me to sort out later. We are a yarn store in Shelburne, Vermont.
That we are.
Which I feel like we maybe don't even need to say that given the backdrop, but who knows? We could be anywhere. We could be those weird people
This
that.
is my other craft room. Can you imagine having a craft room? This is my studio.
My studio. So if you're scratching your head as to what that's all about, I will refer you to our December YouTube live video that's posted.
Which happened just this past Sunday.
Yeah, where we filmed from Kelly's craft room at her house. So that's why that's super funny. But yes, this is her other craft room, my other craft room, and my kids' free-for-all space. So they're a little too comfortable here, but that's all right. It's to be expected. So we like to start most of our podcasts with a segment that we call Picks of the Week, because we're really creative like that. So,
Well,
yeah, I know.
sometimes it's easier just being
go with the
straightforward and
Just go with the obvious.
Uh-huh.
So Kelly and I each week pick a yarn that we'd like to showcase, and a lot of times it's things that maybe we're working on a project with or getting ready to start a project with. Yep. And so what we do is whatever yarn we individually pick for the week, we offer you 10% off in our online store. which is at mustloveyarn.com. We will in a little bit get to what the coupon code is. There's a place in the online checkout where you can apply a coupon code, and that will get you the 10% off. We do link all of these yarns that were the 2 yarns that we're talking about in the show notes, which can be found on our website, and there is a link to the show notes in the YouTube.
If you're in YouTube, if you're in iTunes,
there's still a link. I copied the link over, so you should still be able to link over.
Well, perfect. I don't know if it's down or up or sideways where it is.
It's probably down, or if you have it on full screen, you'll have to minimize and go. But what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to also copy over the section with the picks of the week direct links. So you just need to go to the comment, or the description for the podcast for this particular episode, and the links should be right there. So we're not trying to make this hard for people to get to the yarn. We would love you to buy this yarn.
Yeah,
so
it's because it's great yarn.
Because it's fantastic yarn,
and we're typically working with it. So,
yep. So do you want to go with your? What do you got?
I sure will. So I am casting on a swatch. So I just finished casting on.
How good she is.
For a little swatchy. That's all I'm showing you today is swatch.
Hey, it's an important part of the process.
So, I will show you. My pick of the week is a Berroco yarn. And some of you guys may be familiar with Berroco Remix. I'm going to show you Berroco Remix Light. So this is a DK weight yarn, and it is 100% recycled fibers. I don't know if you can see. There you go. Now you can see that on there. So it's fantastic. It's a lot of usually cotton. I can let you know. It's 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic, 10% silk, and 9% linen. So it's a little bit everything in here, but there is no wool. So if you can't wear wool, this is a great option for you. It's not vegan because it does have the silk in it. So on occasion we get people looking for vegan yarns, but it does have the silk. It is recycled fibers, which is really cool. So it gives it this really tweedy texture to it, which is really, really neat.
Got some other colors here.
Yep,
they're all sort of heathery, tweedy.
And this one that has no ball band is the one that I'm going to be working with. This one, and I think this one's called Patina is the color name. So there they are. These are the colors that we have, and a lot of the colors are kind of muted. And when you're working with recycled fibers, you kind of
really soft.
You're gonna have more muted, as you're combining those colors, because you have to reblend them into a new blend. So the colors will tend to get a little bit more muted. Yeah, but I love them. I love them. And I can't attest to how it is to work with because I've just barely cast them on. But the Remix, which is their worsted weight, has done really, really well, and I know a lot of people like it.
Wow, they're really calling this a DK.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's because it's kind of nubbly. It is. It looks fairly light.
Thick and thin.
But it is has that tweedy look to it. So I will show you the pattern that I'm going to make from this. What I'm actually casting on to do the swatch for. So we do have actually the Remix Light books in stock. I think we've got one in stock, but Berroco has some of the most fantastic pattern support. So if you guys haven't checked out their yarns, they have a lot of free patterns on their website, but they also put all of their patterns that they do in those booklets on Ravelry as individual patterns. So that's one thing that I love about what they do is that they make them available individually. A lot of times all of the patterns in their booklets are also great that you end up just wanting the whole book. Because I think this book in of itself is like $12. So for the price, if you like 2 patterns
it's worth it.
Or more in here, you could buy this because individually the patterns are $6.
Does it come with a code to add to your Ravelry library, or is it...
I don't think they've started doing that. Nope, they haven't started doing that yet. So if you prefer to have things digital, then obviously you'd want to get them.
You might be able to buy some of them. You can buy the whole
booklet
as an electronic PDF.
Yeah. There's some really great pieces in here. So the first one is the shawl here, which is really lovely. There's this great cardigan in here too. It has some texture on it. There's another shawl here. This little t-shirt, so this is the one that I'm making. So eventually it'll be for me, but it's going to live most of its life in the store because that's the way
That's the way it goes.
That's the way it goes when you own a yarn store. And then
just ask my kids. All the fun things I've made for them.
I know, right?
End up here and never go home.
And then there's this one other piece. So this really nice oversized. It's kind of like a Ruana a little bit, but it's a little bit different. So, oops. I don't think I held it up long enough to give anything away. So anyway, and there's one on the back, a little lacy t-shirt on the back.
That's cute too.
Yeah, so there's really great patterns in here that that they just have wonderful designers that work for them, and they put together really great patterns for the yarn. So if you haven't worked with Berroco yarns or you haven't checked out their patterns, take a peek on their website, or you can always click through the link if you're interested in the Remix site.
Do you remember off the top of your head, and I don't, what it retails for per skein? I know we get some questions about that sometimes.
I'll have to look it up. I don't have my phone with me, otherwise I'd look it up. It's really reasonably priced, and so for the t-shirt that I'm making, I only need 3 skeins because the yardage on these is incredible.
400 and some yards. Right?
432 yards. So their yarns are always reasonably priced anyway.
Yeah.
For the amount of yarn you're getting. So great company. I really enjoy
Berroco has nice
their
stuff.
yarns and their patterns. So if you get a chance, check them out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So my pick this week, I was hoping, like all of us, that the Christmas line for this yarn was going to be in. And I think they just got so popular
they've been out of stock,
and they haven't been able to keep up with the demand. I guess they were surprised by the demand. I don't know. But I decided I'm doing the Kelly school of here's all the yarns that we have. So this is West Yorkshire Spinners. This is their signature sock yarn, and they have both self-striping and some solids. So this is going to be my pick of the week. I'm actually using this one here. I'm going to be making a little baby cardigan out of it.
Nice.
Specifically, it's called the Newborn Vertebrae. I've linked it in the show notes. It's a free pattern.
So Angela's done the mama vertebrae before, so this is just the baby version?
The tiny, tiny baby version.
Which is adorable.
So if the coupon's good for 2 weeks, code's good for 2 weeks. If you, I think
we might have the Christmas yarns.
Yeah, we're going to check on the Christmas yarns, and maybe by the time I get around to editing this a little bit later this afternoon, Kelly will have messaged me to give me an estimated time of arrival or not arrival for the Christmas, and I can just put it on a note at the bottom when I edit, an update as to what's happening with the Christmas. If you want that, if it's going to be coming in the next week or so, maybe wait a bit till it comes in.
Yeah.
And but we'll try to give you that update. But I didn't want to wait any longer. We do have a sock along going, so this is probably my final sock yarn pick. Because if you were super speedy, you might be able to still knock out a pair of socks before the end of December.
Yeah, a lot of people do a pair of socks in a week or so. Then there are those people that can do them and that'll do a pair of socks a day.
Yeah, that's not me.
Me either.
I wish. Oh my god. That would be amazing. I could use up a whole lot of stash. But instead of using stash, I come to the yarn store and buy more yarn.
Maybe what I need to do is just get one of the sock knitting machines.
That would be super cool.
They're really expensive, but they're, oh my gosh,
They're
can you
so
imagine? You could whip socks out like crazy.
Whip samples out for the store
I know.
crazy.
Yeah.
We should look into that. That would be super fun.
That would be cool.
Anyway.
That would be cool. I have a regular knitting machine, which if you saw the live episode, I haven't used it at all. So
So, I didn't mean to interrupt you. We
Yeah.
totally did not give them the
No,
code.
I had remember we hadn't.
Okay.
I was just getting off on a tangent,
Okay.
but I won't.
People are yelling at the computer. You haven't given us the code.
I hadn't forgotten.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No,
We're
it's
just-
fine. We can let's give you guys the code so that we don't, because we're gonna have to kind of keep an eye on our time today, because I'm teaching a whole bunch of private lessons. So
Yep. So the code is Weekly Pick Remix. To get 10% off the Remix Light or the West Yorkshire Spinner's Signature.
Nice.
So, yes, you
Awesome.
have a knitting machine.
I do. I just haven't had time to really set it up and figure it all out. So sometime when I actually have a few minutes, I might do that at some point.
Nice.
It's gonna be a while.
Always something going on here.
Uh-huh.
That sucks our time away.
So we have some chillier weather.
Yeah.
So we're able to wear our knitwear. Next week there's supposed to be a day where it doesn't get out of the teens, apparently.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
I
we're supposed to
better-
get a few inches of snow on Tuesday, and then Wednesday it's supposed to be like really cold.
I better hurry up and get Jody done. 'Cause I would find another DK shawl.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. To
Very
have.
nice to
Mhm.
have.
Yeah.
But you are wearing.
So I'm wearing the Sweet Gum cowl, which I have talked about before, so I won't go into tons of detail. It is knit out of Moonshine Chunky, which is Juniper Moon Farms Moonshine Chunky. And I did add another section of the pattern. I added a pattern repeat in, and I think I added length to it too, so I also made it an extra one taller, I believe, is what I did. I think I put it in my
Your project page?
yeah, my project page on Ravelry. But we've got links in show notes, so
Mhm.
if you want to see more details about the pattern or the yarn
Yep.
or what I did, head on over to see show notes.
Yep. And I will definitely say, echo that for the piece that I'm wearing, which, as I'm looking at myself, is sort of just haphazardly like wrapped around myself and tied up. So it's not draping all over the place. This is my Find Your Fade shawl. So there's like 5 or 6 different yarns in here. Probably none of which we carry in the store. Because
All stash yarns.
was all stash
Yeah.
yarn. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was almost all stash yarn.
Yeah, I
but
think
it
you're
is
right.
all listed out.
This is the only one. Fiber stash.
Fiber stash.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which we're having a trunk show. We're going to talk about that in a little bit.
So all of the various yarns are listed out on my project page. So that's where I would refer you to for the details to that,
Mhm.
because at this point, I'm not even sure I remember what yarns are in here. And I didn't even knit this that long ago.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, that's the way it goes. So we, Kelly, I think, has a couple finished objects.
Mhm.
I have some almosts. And then I've continued with the let's do other things and cast on projects.
I know. I've been like pushing out the finished objects, trying
Yeah.
to get stuff done. And I'm not really even doing any holiday gift
So-
knitting either.
Do you get?
Yes. So up above me is the slouchy pullover, and if you're watching the live episode on Sunday, I was actually wearing it. But now it's come to live in the store and be a shop sample.
And we did not bust out the Chewbacca mask because I forgot it. So catch us on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, so the slouchy pullover is done, and I used the Sugar Bush Yarns drizzle and used 4 strands held together. It's a mohair yarn, so it's really fuzzy. It is incredibly warm, and I'm really happy with it. I did
Nice.
kind of like a length in between. I think Ange and I both did, because the shorter one would have been too short on me because I have a really long torso, and the longer one was a little bit too long for what I would have wanted.
Yep.
So I did kind of a length in between. I think I knit, so from the underarm to the hem, I believe was about 15 inches.
Okay.
Is what I did.
I think mine was 13 or 14,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. Though I was having some pretty significant gauge issues. So don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what happens when you don't do a swatch or check your gauge, but it's cool. I would be finished with my slouchy. The knitting on it is done and has been done for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to do a tutorial on the mattress stitch for stitching up the side, so I have to wait until I have an opportunity with good light to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys seem to really like the picking up stitches tutorial that Anne did. So she's going to do one for a mattress stitch and just kind of show you how that goes. It's, you know, it's really straightforward, but if you haven't done it before for a pieced sweater, it's kind of nice just having something to be able to take a peek at.
So I'll dig mine out of here. It is done. I haven't woven in the ends. I suppose I could do that. I was telling Kelly I was debating whether to do a tutorial for weaving in ends as well. So here's mine. All the knitting's done.
Nice.
It just needs to be sewn together. And the one thing that I don't know, and this is where not swatching could come back to bite me, I don't know what this yarn's going to do when it hits the water. I suspect it's going to grow and bloom a bit. Maybe not as much as I would hope, or maybe more than I desire. One can never tell.
A lot of times with those chainette yarns, they're not, they don't, you know, because of how they're constructed, they have a really good structure, elasticity, so they don't kind of go whoosh and get like crazy big on you.
Yeah. So by gauge issues, the size that I made and the length that I made should have taken 40 skeins of Stratus. I just purchased my 6th skein to finish the sleeves. I did not use very much of it. I didn't need a huge amount, but there's no way I could have finished it without that 6th skein. So that's what I get for not checking my gauge.
Well, sometimes that happens.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
So my other finished object that I have that you guys have seen me working on before is the classic Granny Store square blanket. So this is going to be a baby size one, obviously, and it's square, and it was crocheted, and you can see a lot of the light coming through. But so I used the Katia paint for this, and it's really nice. They're huge skeins. They're almost 600 yards. It's a worsted weight yarn. It's a lighter worsted. It's not super heavy worsted. And they come in a lot of really great color combos. So they're a gradient. They do all the work for you.
Yeah.
Especially with something like this, you know, I just go round and around and around, and so you get this really cool effect. So I was really happy with this. I'm giving this away to somebody, but I used one and a little bit of another skein. So I'm actually going to do one for the store as a store sample because I think it shows off the yarn really well.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So so I am going to do that. And it's just a fun, super easy crochet pattern. So even if people haven't done a lot of crochet, this is something that, you know, it's double crochets and chaining, and that's really all that it is. So it's a really easy pattern.
So basically what you're saying is even I could do it.
Sure, you can absolutely do it. So yeah, it was fun, and I've had it done for a while. I just didn't bring it in to show you guys. So,
as it happens.
And I have to take pictures of it, the finished piece, because I haven't done that yet.
So I'm still working on my little boxy, and I have divided. You can see. I have divided for the front and the back. So I'm working on. I can't remember whether it's the front or the back.
It's one or the other. It's either the front or the back. It's got a 50-50 shot.
I know. I just check the directions. So that's coming along. We'll see. It still might end up being a Christmas gift, or who knows. We'll see. Is solidifying the fact that I am never probably making a boxy for myself unless it's a worsted one, because holy
bulky
smokes.
Boxy.
Bulky boxy, yeah. Holy smokes. It's a lot of knitting.
It's a lot of knitting. It's a lot of knitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so I have the little swatch that I'm working on. So I'll show you so you can see what it looks like being knit up. I really like the texture. It's really nice and soft. I'm not a huge fan of knitting with cotton, but because this has a lot of other bits and bobs of fiber in it, it's actually knitting really well. It's not knitting like 100% cotton, although there are some 100% cottons I've knit with before that I really enjoy. The Great Adirondack Yarn Company, their cotton that they have, hers is just beautiful, so which we stock in the store. And there's some other ones too that
It's the same one I did the color work in the Dancing Bear sweater.
Barocco has the Corsica, which is cotton cashmere. It's only got 10% cashmere, but it does make a difference.
Right. Oh yeah.
So just cashmere, I mean, come on.
Bit of give.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing with cotton, I think, is just that it doesn't have that elasticity in it. So.
Yep.
And sometimes it can have like a weird hand feel to hand to it too, or you just So anyway, so I'm working on that, and then I have just one other swatch that I can show you guys.
So I got off on this like totally weird, like let's just make all the weird things tangent.
They're not weird though. I love
No, I know.
this.
They're
This is
so
awesome.
cool. So I I received their newsletter, and it's been the death of me. So Church Mouse Yarn and Tees, you see us do a lot of patterns. Part of the reason, like the slouchy.
They do some great patterns.
Yeah. So one of the things, I was just making sure that there was nothing important on this side, except my writing over here. So they have this pattern for these felted gingerbread ornaments, which are super cute, and I thought, what a great idea to attach to gifts or to hang on the tree here, or just as a quick project.
And you could really embellish them if you want to,
or not,
or you could just kind of leave them plain. You could do some little button eyes on them. You could do some ribbon. You can do some stitching on them. Oh, that's really thick.
Yeah. So I need to felt it some more.
Yeah.
So I got all the knitting done. Like, you can still see the knitted. This has been thrown into the wash once. This is Brown Sheep Company. They're did I put it on?
They're Lamb's Pride.
Lamb's Pride.
The worsted.
It's the worsted. It's held double. They called for size 13 needles. I actually went up to a 15, and I still am. I don't know that the weave was maybe not open enough. But anyway, so it needs to get felted some more.
Yeah.
Before I can cut out the ornaments.
Yeah.
So that's in process. So as you can see, you knit a tube, and then once it's felted, you can cut it apart. But it felted really awkwardly. Like, some spots are really kind of okay, and then other places it was
Which is challenging when you have a front-loading washing machine.
Yeah.
So
I think, the problem is I got super spoiled with that Gina.
Yeah, because that felted so
I don't
amazing.
know why that felted so good. I did the exact same thing with this.
I wonder if holding it single, if it would make a difference, and then knitting it at a really loose gauge so that it could really felt.
I wonder. I don't know that I want to knit it again. I'm going to try to felt it again. If I have to knit it again, I will. This yarn's not super expensive. I want to say it was like $10 for a skein, maybe. For the worsted, we do have this color. This is the Bronze Patina colorway that the pattern calls for.
Which is perfect gingerbread colorway.
Yeah, totally perfect gingerbread. I don't know. I was showing it to Carol. I think I'm going to try to hand felt it and see if I can't get it to just do. And if it's not going to, then I might try what you said, which is to hold it single on the 13s.
Yeah.
Though I might do a swatch and see if
a little one
and see if it'll work.
That's a good idea.
So stay tuned. Maybe I'll come back next week with some ornaments. Or I'll just be like, I'm so done with this. It could go either way at this point.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing where I should, if I had my knitting machine set up, you can just zip out a really quick big block, toss it in the washing machine, and then do some more.
I mean, really, this didn't take me that long. The knitting on this, I got done in a day.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge time investment. It's just more like, wow, I could have done some other stuff if this isn't going to work out.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Very cool.
Stay tuned.
So the only other thing that I'm going to show you guys, which is fine because we've got stuff we have to do.
Like a scarf.
So I did my swatch for the Humulus. I haven't measured this yet, so I don't know if I've hit gauge or not. But this is Quince & Co. Owl in the chamomile, I think is the colorway I'm using. So I do a nice big 6x6 swatch or close to it. And then you can measure in the middle, and you can measure your stitch gauge in a couple places and just make sure you get a nice average. It tends to not be too different, as long as you've knit it kind of in one setting, which is nice. And let's see, that's the pattern, the Humulus.
Nice.
So that green color is going to be this part of it, and then this is going to be the main color,
That'll be nice.
which is Albertine. Yeah. So I think that'll be pretty. So now I just have to measure it. It's been blocked, and yeah. So then I can get cast on with that if that is the proper gauge.
So I guess I'm stuck with hats. I've been waffling about color work. I've been wanting to do a color work sweater, and I can't make up my mind. I think I might have to cut some pictures out and put them in a bag and pull one out, because I literally cannot decide what I wanted to do. So in the interim, I cast on for a bobble hat. If you guys watch the podcast, you might recognize this yarn. This is the same yarn I knit the mittens out of. And so I'm just making a matching hat now with something I promised to do for the person that I made the mittens for. I've already sent them the mittens, but I was telling Kelly, I was like, I see the bag where the yarn is, and every time I see the bag, I'm like, I gotta do that hat. I gotta do that hat. And I know it's not gonna take me that long. I did all of this color work from down here up to here this morning.
Yeah.
Was hanging out with my parents for a little bit, about an hour or so, and just, knocked out that color work. So hats don't take that long, and they're
No,
a
they
great
don't.
quick project, and I will just have an immense sense of relief once I get this done and get it in the mail to the person. And then I think I might be able to focus more on some of these other projects,
Yeah.
because it'll just be one more thing that's done that I had looming over me that I needed to do. And I
know.
didn't really have a deadline, or it wasn't like, she's like, I need it by this certain date. It just, I know it's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. I might have the finished object on this one next week, which I should have probably spent that hour working on the boxy, but whatever. Shiny.
I have some other projects I'm working on, but they're going to be gifts for people that potentially watch the podcast. So I'm not going to show them.
That's cool.
But I will show them at some point.
Cool. Or
down the
pictures.
road.
We'll insert pictures or something.
Yeah.
Did I have anything else on the list that I said I was working on? I've been making pom-poms, because why not? Christmas pom-poms. I don't even know what I'm doing with these.
Just going to decorate with them.
To decorate them, I might hang them on our tree here.
We've got a really cute little garland that Carol did. That's
I
hanging on
know.
the tree.
I love our pom-pom makers. If you guys haven't seen or used
The
these,
clover
the
ones.
clover ones, here, I'll dig them out. I've got them in here.
They are really nice. They make really nice pom-poms.
Guys, they make the most awesome pom-poms ever.
They do.
So, we sell these. You can
Yep.
buy them at the store. I should link them in show notes. Pom-poms are fun. Great way to use up scrap yarn.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So our Sunday YouTube Live was super fun.
Mm-hmm.
We have a really great time doing those. They're a totally different format than
It's so different because we don't
Yeah.
stick to show notes or anything. They're free form, so they're
people
just
ask questions.
it's really
and-
like a knit group for us, which is
Yeah.
kind of fun.
So we'll be doing another one New Year's Eve.
Not that this isn't fun, but
Yeah.
it's
Different.
a little bit more structured when we do these. Not that sometimes you can probably tell, but
The live events have less structure.
yeah.
Expect no structure. Maybe that's a better
Especially
way.
the New Year's Eve one. That
Oh
was
my
woo.
god. Oh man. So yes, New Year's Eve, we're gonna be doing a live podcast or live
Back in my
event
dungeon.
back in Kelly's craft room. We're eyeballing 7 p.m. We're still it'll be 7 p.m. ish.
Give or take. When we get closer, we'll let you guys know. Although
Yes.
we're closing in
We're
on it.
getting
Can
close.
you believe?
It's probably safe to say 7's okay.
probably.
Why don't we
so.
go with 7, and if for some reason that has to change, we'll let you know.
Right.
So let's just make a decision. 7.
7.
Eastern Standard Time.
Right.
Yes. So join us for that. We're going to be picking some prizes for a couple of our knit-alongs, which will be closing the knit-along threads probably about 5 o'clock that day, so we have time to...
We keep changing. We're like noon last time. We're like 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. We don't have that much time.
No.
So get your stuff done.
Right.
We have Chunk Show with Fiber Stash.
Chunk Show! So the 16th, which is a week from Saturday. Join us from noon to 3.
Yay!
I've got to send out a whole bunch of like social media blasts and stuff to remind people and let them know.
Yeah.
Because I really want it to be a great turnout for Christy. She does such gorgeous yarn.
Yes.
I really, really just love her work. And she does such a wide range of colors and does them all so well. You know, some people kind of have certain colors they always gravitate towards, which is nice, especially if that's like your aesthetic. But she does like everything.
I've seen like
really, really nice.
Traffic cone orange to like beautiful, subtle
Softs,
neutrals that are just beautiful. So
so come on out, especially if you need a gift for that knitter friend of yours.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be great. Her yarns are definitely yarns that any knitter would love to get, I would think.
Yeah.
I think. I'd buy a lot of her yarn.
Me too.
So join us on the 16th, which is a Saturday, from noon to 3.
Yep. We've got 2 knit-alongs going on. We've got the sock-along, which is just, finish your socks. Knit your socks, whatever, whips. I can't believe how many people are posting in the thread on Ravelry. It is awesome. Keep them coming.
Yeah, I hadn't been on in a while and to that thread, and then I stopped and looked, and there were like 50 new entries, and I was like, oh my god! And I went through, and they were so cool.
Yeah,
I love
socks. They look
Yeah.
great. And then we also have the sweater along, big bulky sweater along with the slouchy pullover. I think do we need to put a thread up? Have we done that already? Well, we'll make sure there's a thread up. We know some people.
If we haven't, we will.
Yeah, we know some people have bought yarn for it.
Yep.
But throw your finished object up in that thread, and we'll draw prizes for that. We also are putting together prizes for a 2,000 subscriber giveaway on YouTube. We're getting close.
So we're just over 1,800 now. So got a little ways to go. Well, we may not hit it until after the new year. So
that's all right.
Those prizes may have to wait until
it'll just give us
the new year.
That much more time to put something together.
Yeah, because we've got some great yarn. Tammy from Wing and a Prayer Farm has given us some yarn. Some of that's going to go into that giveaway.
Yep.
And we've got a lot of other great things that we've kind of held back and put together. And so
it'd be super cool.
Yeah.
So, because thank you to all of you, because you watch and
for subscribing and
comments and
letting your friends know about us, and
take part of the picks of the week, and it's great.
Yeah, we really enjoy interacting with you guys. We've had a ton of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The Madeline Tosh Vintage arrived.
It did. So Madeline Tosh Vintage is
back in stock.
So if you've been waiting on that or looking for certain colors, I think we've got 8 different colors in stock now. For a short time until they all sell out and go away.
Yeah.
Because it's probably not going to last long. But yeah, it is back in stock. The other thing that we've got back on stock are the Sheep Love Kits. Yay! So that one's the gray version. I don't have my brown version available, but the brown version includes. I don't know if they're going to show up that well. So it has this nice caramely brown color and a deeper, darker. There's thread on there, a chocolate brown. Whereas this one's a little bit of a gray tone.
So this is Savage Heart Farm yarn.
Yep. So you get all the yarn to make the hat. Actually, there's more than enough yarn. You might be able to get one for yourself and one for a wee one if you took a couple of the sheepies out. And it comes in our nice little muscle yarn bag.
Yep. And we're retailing this for $40.
I think they're $40, $45. I can't remember. It's been quite a while since we've had them in stock because just had to get my act together and get some up. So I've got to put these in the system, but I'm sure by the time this podcast goes up, they will be in there. So if you wanted to do one of the Sheep Love hats, these are kits to do them. And it's using the Savage Heart Farm yarns, which Peggy and her husband Todd, they are over on the eastern side of the state, and they just do a phenomenal job. She has Cormos and Cordales, and Cornwall Corriedale Cross. And so this yarn is super squishy, really warm.
Yeah.
Just a lovely, lovely yarn. You know, we're not talking like a traditional farm yarn here. It's a super soft yarn. Yeah, it's really lovely, and Peggy's really just an awesome person. We just really love having her come and visit when she does. So, and the pattern is by Donna Kay. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And yeah, so it was made. She did it for the New Hampshire Sheep and Wool Festival, which I think is kind of a cool thing. Cool. It's kind of all New England. So anyway, those are back in stock too.
Yes. And I had one final acquisition I want to talk about. Okay. And then Kelly's got to go.
Then I do.
She does. So Etsy, as you guys all know, Etsy and Instagram are my downfalls. I more blame Instagram because I see stuff on Instagram and then I go to Etsy. So I saw on Instagram that someone was selling these ornaments. And as you might know, if you're a long time watcher of the podcast, I have a superhero fan at my house, and I thought, how cool is that? So the kit comes with everything you need to make the ornament. So you knit.
That's cool.
The little cover for it. So
comes with a little glass ball and then, or plastic.
So you can find these. I think it's plastic. It's just shatterproof.
Yeah.
LexiCorp on Etsy, and we'll link to her store in the show notes. She had, so that was the Batman one. She had Superman. She had Wonder Woman. Awesome. I think I just saw recently a Hamilton one that she had. That's cool. Yeah, so they're super cute, pretty affordable. I want to say that the kit itself was maybe $20. She did have some already made ones that were a little more expensive. Super fast shipping, so kind of a cool, if you need, you want to make something for someone who is hard to shop for, maybe doesn't like to wear hats, whatever, superhero ornament. So I've had to, it's been in my office, and I need to start it, but I can't take it home. Because little people are very into what I'm doing.
Well, especially around the holidays, they want to know everything that's going on, too. Like, is that for me? What's that?
Yeah. What is that?
What's in that box? What's in that bag?
Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Oh, it's just yarn for Mom. That's what I get now. That's right. Train them young. So I just wanted to show that because I thought it was pretty cool.
Nice.
Kind of a cool idea.
Nice. Yeah. For anybody who's been interested in classes or asking about classes, we'll have more classes coming out after the first of the year. I've got to sit down and get that squared away, but we have had a lot of people interested. I've been doing a lot of private lessons too. I think a lot of people wanting to have something to do when they have a little more time over the holidays.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's all I've got.
That's all I've got.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. Yeah. Thank you to all of our returning viewers. We always love hearing what you're up to and reading your comments. We don't always get a chance to reply, but we always do read every single thing that comes through. And for anyone new, thank you for checking us out. We hope you enjoy the podcast. And if you do, feel free to subscribe, and that'll give you notifications whenever a new episode goes up.
Or if we start a live event.
On YouTube. And also, if you're so inclined, if you've been enjoying us on iTunes, feel free to leave a review. That makes it so that more people can find us a little easier. Yep. So thanks again for everybody for joining us, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Yeah, probably next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Do our normal, which people seem to like a whole lot. Why is my stuff so far away?
Well, some of it's because we had improvise and do craziness.
Yeah. Usually we're all boxed in here, and today I'm I can't reach anything. So I already put the discount code in.
Sweet.
Yeah. I was on it. I was doing show notes, and I was like, I'm on a roll. Let's just
keep on rolling.
Take care of all of this stuff. I'm pretty sure I don't have. Maybe I'll bust. I'm trying to figure out what I can knit on while we're podcasting. Because definitely color work is not it. No, I did all this color work. this morning?
I'm just weaving in ends. Because this I put in finished.
How fast hats are.
I know. Don't you love them?
You do.
I do.
When I get that done, then I'm done with staring at that. It's one of those things where you like want to be responsive and do it.
All right.
We should probably get the show on the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should.
We should. Boop. It's been at my office because I need to like knit it at work. So because it's for someone at home
Yep.
who I don't have any time there by myself to knit when other people aren't
Do you
around.
even get any time
To-
in the bathroom by yourself?
Some days no. Some days that would be a negative. Negative ghostwriter.
Oh, he needs to pee.
Because even if you shut and lock the door,
The fingers come under the door. Oh.
what you doing in there? I
What do you
don't
think
know.
I
Same
do?
thing you're doing there. When are you gonna be done?
Never.
Yeah. Shh. Mommy's halfway into her bottle of wine. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh.
I love my children very much.
Little stinkers.
Sometimes they love me too much back. Boop. 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 Boop.
We can rock anytime. And just
Okay. I don't even want to touch that. I don't even
I'll
want to.
straighten.
I don't even want to move that closer because
no.
the whole thing is like one truck backing into the loading dock away from falling down. Should take a picture of it, of our contraption.
I can't believe I forgot that. I had
it's
it
totally
right
fine.
next to the door so that I
Totally fine.
wouldn't.
That's what happens when we do things out of. We just need to get another one of those things. You know.
I know. So
we have one here and
yeah,
one
because
at
if
your
you have a
house.
tripod at your house, I have a tripod at my house. That's like the only link that we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, all right.